Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a f***ing ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
I'm Molly Bay.
Today is November 23rd, 2021, or as we like to refer it here in Buccaneers Kingdom, Victory Tuesday.
Yeah.
Man, I needed that so bad. I needed it more than they did, I think. Molly asked me before the game. She was like all excited already. I'm just sitting there on the couch. I'm like, ugh. She's like, so do you think we're going to win? And I just looked at it and I was like, I honestly don't know. I lost faith. I repent. This is, I fell off the wagon. I lost faith.
You had me freaked out.
I backslid. Honestly. Yes, she was really freaked out.
I was like,
Yes. I was like, man, we need to not just win this game. We need to make a statement. We need to dominate. And guess what? We did.
We got through all of the Jameis Winston years, all the Love years, all the Shiano years. And I don't think I've ever seen you as despondent as you were last week after the loss to Washington.
Yeah.
Like you've always just kept the faith, and there were always reasons that we lost. And last week, they were not there. And you had me a little concerned. Yes,
well, we've seen some bad football with the Buccaneers over the years, and the 2011 team, the last part of it, was the worst football I've ever seen. It was, the team just quit, and I saw glimpses of that last week against the Redskins, and it put me in panic mode.
Yeah, like PTSD.
Yeah. And then on top of that, with that Rick Stroud article that came out concerning Antonio Brown's vaccination status, I'm thinking, oh, great, FBI is going to be kicking in doors. Our team's
It's going to be a huge scandal.
It's going to be a huge scandal. And the way we played. And I was like, oh, my gosh, this might just torpedo our season. And I was like, oh, please let us come out and just stomp the Giants. And we did.
Yeah. It was just what we needed. And I thought the team looked exactly like they did last year when we started getting on our roll. Yes. It was just, now, granted, the Giants, not a good team.
Apparently not.
3-7.
Yeah.
So it's what we should have done. It's what we should have done to Washington, frankly.
Yes. 100%. More so, I think, than the Giants. I think the Giants were a better team previously. Now I don't think so, because the way the Redskins whooped up on Carolina, which again, that don't take a whole lot. But
yeah. Well, the Giants, they beat the Raiders, the Panthers, and the Saints. So, I mean, they beat, not horrible teams. I mean, Panthers, you can throw them in there. But the Raiders and the Saints, they beat the Saints with Jameis Winston.
Yeah. Right. So, I was expecting more from them than I was from the Redskins.
Yeah.
But, the Redskins, they brought their A-plus game. Best game they've played probably in 5 years. And the Giants didn't. Giants did not bring their A game.
Oh, my gosh.
There's no team in the league that can beat us if we bring our A game, even our A-minus game. There's nobody that can beat us if we play A-minus. Very few teams can beat us if we bring our B game. There's only a handful that could. And, I think we played very well. We played, I'd say A, good solid A all the way around. Yeah. Now, who would you give game ball to? I've been racking my brain on this one. So many guys played well.
Everyone played so well that no one really stood out.
Right, exactly.
It
was just everybody was doing something.
Who? I got it.
Who?
I know who I would give the game ball to.
Yeah.
Steve McLendon for that interception.
Steve.
Let's do it. The big boy got an interception, first of his career.
He's been with us for 2 years. He's been a rotational player. And he's never really done anything. I mean, he's not bad at all. He's just a guy.
He's all right. He's a body.
He's a
serviceable.
body. Yes, and he got that interception. That was just so pretty. It was a great catch too. He was like falling.
He
when
fell
caught
on it. Yeah, he had to use his whole 300-pound body to catch that ball.
That was great though, and he kept that thing too. He took it to the sideline with him.
Yeah.
I was telling Molly he's going to have that on his mantle in a case, and everybody that ever comes to his house until he dies is going to hear about the story behind that football.
His one interception. It'll be right beside his Super Bowl ring.
Yes. His one interception. Yeah, he's been in the league for quite some time.
Yeah.
Gosh, like 8 years or something?
I got it coming up.
So the game was exactly what we needed. And it was basically, we beat them in all categories by about 3. A factor of 3. And, the score showed it. And it just, it's really, really what we needed. I was very thankful for that game.
I know.
I was sweating it, man. I mean, I wasn't really nervous as much as I was just.
Yeah. Well,
dread.
we've had so many of these primetime games that just turned into a disaster.
Yes.
And I was like, after the Saints game, after the Washington game, the last thing we need to do is shit the bed on national television. And, that's all anyone will be talking about. We got and it just felt like we could be ripe to succumb to that news cycle. Yeah. Between the Antonio Brown stuff and then had we lost, it just would have been such a disaster. So.
I got to give it up to, let's throw a game ball out to the fans in the stadium.
Yeah.
They did great. It was, it caused a couple penalties on the Giants, the noise, a couple false starts.
It was loud.
Yeah. And, the announcers were talking about it. I mean, you could hear it on the TV. And it was so quiet when we had the ball. And you look around in the stadium, there wasn't hardly any Giants fans. They did pick them out towards the end of the game. They were showing them.
So salty.
Oh, gosh, they were not
salty.
happy.
Yeah.
There was one guy holding his nose. He was in a Giants jersey. He was holding his nose.
Because they stink.
They stank it up.
Steve McLendon has been in the league 12 years.
12 years.
He is 35 years old.
Wow.
He is like...
It's a dinosaur.
Ancient.
Yeah. Got his first interception. It was great.
Well, I'm going to look and make sure that was his interception.
Yeah, Daniels threw it right to him. But that was due to pressure. Now, we were pressured, Daniels, all night long.
Oh, yeah. He got murdered.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That is the first interception of his career.
But we didn't get to him sack-wise until the fourth quarter, right? I mean, we didn't get a sack until after we put our second-string offense in.
Well, he kept doing that crap where he was getting hit and then he'd throw it.
Yeah.
I mean, he made some boneheaded decisions. He threw, he threw 2 interceptions. I can't remember what the other one was. Oh, it was Mike Edwards.
Tipped by Devin White.
Yeah. So just not, he was pretty good when he was getting taken down. He was throwing it way out of bounds. So he wasn't like trying to lob it to anybody, which I guess is a point in his favor.
He wasn't totally taken over by the Mahomes effect, is what you're saying.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. So you would go with McLendon. I would have to go with Tom Brady, and not because he played particularly outstanding or anything, but it was that one play where he ran for 11 yards. I'm going to say 11 yards. It's officially 10 yards, but he will let you know he ran for 11 yards. I don't know, just the energy he brought with that, and it was my favorite play of the game because he slid. I mean, he was running. He actually hurtled over somebody. And then, he did the slide, but it wasn't no weekend slide. He jumped in the air and landed on his hip and slid. And as he was sliding, he threw the ball up, in this manner that was almost taunting, You know, it was very, take that. It was just taunting like, but he didn't look anybody in the eyes, so that doesn't count. And then he jumped right up and he started screaming. He was like, pumping it. Man, the crowd was going crazy. That was my favorite play of the game. And so, I'd give him the game ball just for that.
Well, I really was nervous after that first interception. That was not on him. I mean, that was on
Evans.
Was it not? Yeah, it was on Mike.
Hit him right in the shoulder, right through his hands, hit him in the shoulder.
And it's right by our end zone. Mm-hmm. They got a touchdown off of it, right?
Yes.
So they ended up tying. Mm-hmm. And we were 10-10.
That was 9-13 in the second quarter, and it was the last time they scored.
Yeah. And I was nervous about that because I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is what we saw with Washington. Is that just going to piss him off? One, is he going to be pissed off at Evans and not throw to him again?
He's not Aaron Rodgers.
I know, he's not Aaron Rodgers, but just know, like, interceptions piss him off like nothing else. Like, if he wins the game, but he throws an interception, he's mad about it.
Yes.
He has said that. And so I saw that, the interception happen, and I was just worried about his ability to come back from that.
That's Tom Brady you're talking about.
I know how it sounds. It's awful. Like he comes back from that kind of stuff all the time, but it just felt like it was one of those games where that could be the weight of it all could have just been too much. Like that could have been the straw that breaks the camel's back. So
yeah,
I was very happy that it did not happen.
We started with the ball, drove right down the field. I mean, it was, I think, 8 plays. There wasn't a single negative or zero play. I think we averaged 6 yards a play.
Good.
And they scored a touchdown immediately. I mean, it was just like nothing. It was like they didn't even put a defense out there.
That is that Super Bowl team.
Right.
That's how, the same way that they look.
We were playing.
Boom, boom, boom. You cannot stop us.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and so then the Giants got the ball. They drove down the field, but we stopped them. They had to kick a field goal. Then we got the ball. We drove down the field, kicked a field goal. And then they got it. We stopped them. They punted. We got it back. That's when Tom Brady threw the interception. They were right by the end zone. They were able to shove it in there. And then that's the last time they even sniffed the end zone. It was like our boys went, yeah, okay. Yeah, we're pissed now.
We're done with this. Oh, yeah.
We're tired of playing with you.
Here's all the Giants' drives. Okay, field goal, punt, touchdown, punt, fumble, downs, interception, punt, interception, punt, and downs.
Yeah, I think they tried a fourth down conversions 3 or 4 times, and they only got it once. And here's an interesting fact. We had 7 kickoffs. We kicked off 7 times.
Wow.
Every single one was a touchback. They had 0 yards return.
Dang.
On kickoffs. That's quite impressive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everybody was playing great. Pinion didn't miss a single, Suckup didn't miss a single extra point or a field goal. He was 100% all night. And everybody just played well. There's nobody I can complain about. Ali Marpet did get hurt, and he was out, and Stinney stepped in for him and played great.
Couldn't even tell Marpet was out, I thought.
He actually did more than Marpet does. They were doing plays that had Stinney pulling. They do that with Marpet, not that much. And I saw like 4 plays where they had Stinney pulling to the right. And, he did great. He was blocking everybody you put in front of him.
What happened with Ali's injury?
I don't know.
Oh, it's an oblique. Oblique?
Oblique.
What? That sounds like a yoga injury or something. What is that?
Yoga. I didn't even know you could get injuries doing yoga.
I know. Hey, I did. I pulled a hammy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, so we beat them up, and we've got to keep track of this, and I'm serious. We've talked about doing this for over a year now. But all the coaches and players that we either force out of the game, make retire, or get fired.
Yeah.
Because if you're not aware, Jason Garrett got fired over this game. He was the offensive coordinator for the New York Giants. He used to be the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants snatched him up as soon as Jimmy Jones got rid of him. And he's been their offensive coordinator for 3 years.
2 years? Yeah.
And yep, after this game, they were like, no, we're done with you.
You're done.
We got to fire somebody. Somebody's got to be sacrificed.
I know. And here is what is ridiculous to me is they're elevating Freddie Kitchens to play caller. I know. I'm like, why?
Another ex-coach.
Yeah. For Cleveland, where they went
He was horrible
he
there.
was so bad.
Maybe that's what the Giants' problem is.
Hiring people from Cleveland.
Bad coaches. Mike Evans had his broke the Tampa Bay Buccaneers franchise touchdown record.
Yep.
Beat Mike Allstott. I was watching during the Washington game, and they tried to get the ball to Mike one time and couldn't do it. And then they finally got the touchdown to him to tie it up. And then I was like, please don't throw another touchdown to Mike, because I wanted him to do it, at home. And sure enough, it worked out that way. And that was a great touchdown too. I mean, there was nothing Bradbury could do.
Okay, Bradbury was like behind it. It looked like a middle school dance. But Bradbury is like, he's playing big spoon, but he is way smaller than Evans.
But yeah, he had his hands out.
He was just embracing Evans from behind, and there was nothing Evans could do.
Or nothing Bradbury could do.
Yeah, Bradbury. Yeah.
Evans just caught the ball, and it was like, why are you hugging me, dude?
I know. How big is Bradbury?
And then he did the fake, like he was going to throw it in the stands. The ball.
I know. That was hysterical.
That was
he was
pretty
like
good.
Messing with the fans.
I got that feeling that the team was just really having a good time last night. They were, from the get-go. They weren't stressed. They weren't uptight.
Yeah.
They weren't like Ralph was watching the game. They came out pretty loose, and I like that. We were much more physical than they were.
Yeah.
And
just Lenny running over them, like running through. It takes 2 or 3 guys to tackle Fournette.
Yeah. But he didn't have that many carries. What did he have, 10?
He had 10, yes, for 35 yards. And then Rojo got 8, and he had 33 yards and a touchdown. I didn't know Rojo got a touchdown. Good for him. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
But both of those guys ran more than anyone on the Giants side. Saquon Barkley, their leading rusher, had 25 yards.
Yeah, we totally shut him out.
Wow.
They really didn't even try to run him. Now, that's great, but next week we're playing the Colts, and that Jonathan guy has been lighting it up.
Oh, my gosh.
That's
if you had him in fantasy.
Yeah, he had 5 touchdowns this Sunday. But, the Colts are going to try to run on us, because that's pretty much their game right now. It's just running him.
Yeah, because Carson Wentz is not good.
Yeah, he's a horrible quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. Although they killed Buffalo 41-15. What in the world was Buffalo doing? Holy Jesus. Yeah, this Taylor guy had 185 yards rushing.
Mm-hmm. 5 touchdowns. 1 was receiving, right?
Right. Yeah, he had 4 rushing touchdowns. Good grief.
Yeah. So he's pretty much their whole team right now. So they're going to try to run on us.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very kind of surprising with me with the Giants. I really expected them to try and, do something with Barkley, but they didn't. They just quit immediately.
Well, Barkley was coming back from an injury, I think an ankle. But we hurt Barkley last year.
So
he might have been like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that again. We took him out for the season last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Was it the whole season?
we put Gabbard in halfway through the fourth quarter. And we've done that a number of times this year, at least I want to say 3, where, in the middle of the fourth quarter, Gabbard comes in and plays out the rest of the thing. It's amazing that Brady is leading the league in yards per game, touchdowns, yardage on the season, and he's basically, Gabbard's come in and played half a quarter 3 times. So he's basically a quarter and a half behind everybody, and he's still beating everybody in yardage.
He already has 3,000 yards.
That's
for
insane.
the 19th time in his career. So he's
going to break 5,000 yards.
Yeah. He passed Brett Favre for the most seasons with 3,000 plus yards. Brett Favre had 18.
Peyton Manning has the record right now for 5,477 yards. He did that in 2013. Brady might break that this year.
Yeah.
Brady's third on the list with 5,235 yards in 2011. Same year, Drew Brees got 5,476 yards. So Drew Brees is second, Tom Brady's third. Tom Brady wants that number 1 spot.
Okay, so how many games do we have left?
6?
7? 6?
Oh, wait, yeah, that was week 11.
So we're 7.
That was our 10th game.
3, 10, yeah.
So we got 7 games left.
Yes. I get confused because it's a 17-game season, but there's 18 weeks. So I'm like, wait. Okay, so yeah, we have 7 more games left.
We have 7 more games left, and he's at how many yards?
3,177. 29 touchdowns. Oh,
Good
what?
Lord. What's the touchdown record? Okay, you said
3,177 yards.
Okay. So let's do some math here. 5,477 minus 3,177.
77.
2,300 yards he needs to go.
Okay.
Divide that by 7. 328. We'll say 329 yards per game he needs to get.
He's averaging over 300 yards a game.
Yeah, I think it's like 318.
Dang.
Man, that'd be sweet.
So he needs to...
He needs to step it up.
Or just keep it going. Keep on pace. Dang. Wow. I hope he can get it. And what's the touchdown record?
I am not sure.
I think he holds that, right?
I do not know.
I'm looking it up now.
I would have said it was Peyton Manning, 50 or no. I think Mahomes has it now. Like 2 years ago, he broke it, right?
Single season, okay. But this is like everybody, not just quarterbacks.
Everybody but quarterbacks.
Okay, I'm going to keep looking at that. Oh, here we go. Oh, Peyton Manning has it with 55.
55.
Tom Brady is in second with 50, and Pat Mahomes did tie him.
He tied Brady?
Yeah, so they're both at second with 50.
So he's got, 59, that's the record.
55.
Okay, 55 is the record. Tom Brady has how many, 29 now?
Yeah.
So he needs 26 through 7 games. That's 3.7 touchdowns a game.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
It can be done.
It can
And if anybody can do it,
I
think Tom Brady can do it.
Yeah.
He's wanting
if he wants to.
He wants that ring. That's what he cares about.
I know. He doesn't care about the records.
No, he does not. Did you notice, right after the game, immediately Tom Brady went out and started talking to Mike Glennon, who apparently is a backup at the New York Giants.
I know.
And they talked for quite a bit. It was strange. He did that before he talked to Daniels or anybody else. What relationship do they have? Do you know?
I don't know. I noticed it too. I mean, Glennon is so unique. Like, he really stands out.
He's a head and shoulders above
Physically.
everybody.
Just a Napoleon Dynamite on stilts. And
Well, he's only 5'8", but he's got 3 foot of neck. So he comes out to 6'7". Do you know he was 6'7"?
no?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. They were chatting for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't go to the same college or nothing. I don't know. It was very strange. Why a backup
Maybe they've
quarterback?
done training together or something.
Something. Yeah, there's something there, though.
Something.
I found that interesting. It was really sad, but good at the same time when Mike Evans broke the record because they did a shot of Mike Allstott in the booth. And I was just like, yeah, I mean, he's still looking great. I think Mike Allstott looks great.
Yeah.
And, Mike Allstott was probably my favorite Buccaneer player. And, there's always been a special place in my heart for him. And just to, I know he's completely happy that Mike Evans broke it. And, he has nothing but the best for the Buccaneers. But you still go, it's just kind of fading away.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
how you
it's
feel.
a passing of the torch.
Yes.
Almost.
Yeah. And you're like, oh man. I don't want people to forget Mike Allstott.
Yeah.
He's like the last true fullback, man.
BA will never have a fullback.
Never.
Never. Yeah, and it was cool. They had him there. John Lynch was there. Saf was there.
You
and
saw that
Rondé.
picture?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
All in the booth. And then the guy, who's the big guy that they have with the Hall of Fame that comes and sees all of them?
He's retiring, isn't he?
Yeah, but I can't remember. Isn't he the Hall of Fame commissioner? Is that who that is?
Yes.
President,
name?
whatever they call it. I don't know his name. I see his face right now. But he was in the booth with them, which made me I was like, oh, are they? What's he doing there? Is he telling Rondé? It's probably a little too early for that, huh? For them to start surprising people about the Hall of Fame.
Carl
finalists.
Baker. Carl David Baker.
Okay. So that was cool that he was surrounded by people from the team.
That is cool.
But yeah, it's like a passing of the torch, and it is that, it's kind of come full circle since we went to the Super Bowl in 2003, and then now we're at 2020 and 2021, and they won a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And so all these records are getting smashed, and it's cool.
Yes. Yeah, they're totally happy about all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Allstott never played with another team. He retired as a Buccaneer. He lives there. Same thing with Derrick Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
John Lynch.
Rondé.
And Rondé. John Lynch and Warren Sapp, they dabbled in other teams. John Lynch is, still in football. He's general manager of the
San Francisco
49ers.
Boo.
For how much longer, we don't know. But
Well, they're doing good now.
But yeah, it's good to see them together, and it's just, I don't know, it just gives you a warm feeling in your tummy.
Yeah. Nostalgic.
Now, one thing about the game I didn't like is we had, I think I counted 4 dropped passes by our receivers. Didn't like that. Of course, penalties, you didn't like that. I think we had 6 penalties for 30 some yards.
Okay, let's talk about that stupid illegal formation penalty.
Stupid illegal. What the, and I swear, this, when it happened, I was talking to Molly. I said, look, Bruce Arians is running the same play 3 times in a row. He does not do that. Bruce Arians does not run the same play twice in a game, let alone 3 times in a drive. Mm-hmm. And I guarantee you he was doing that, so he was pointing to the refs going, look, I'm doing the same formation here, and you're not calling that. What is the difference? And we sat there and looked at it. I don't know what they were calling.
I have no idea what they were calling.
I have no idea.
Well, didn't they call it on Mike?
Yeah, Mike Evans said he wasn't on the line.
I don't understand,
and he was his feet were lined up with Jensen's feet.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you not be on the line if your feet are lined up?
That was not a penalty.
It was stupid. Yeah.
But yeah, I think BA would call that 3 times in a row just to prove a point.
Yeah.
Absolutely, to the refs. He hates us.
Same formation, man. It was just like, look, I wanted to see him on the sideline because I know he was yelling at the refs. Look, you're going to call penalty on this one?
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, it goes to show what, I complain about here with mainly the media, that, penalties don't mean that much. I mean, again, we lost the penalty battle. We were, let me see, we had 6 penalties for 39 yards. They only had 4 penalties for 30 yards. But we stopped them. Penalties didn't mean anything.
Like, it wasn't even close.
No.
And really, we got 6 penalties for 39 yards. Are you kidding me? Like, how can you possibly complain about that?
Right.
It's not that many.
Right. But, when you lose, everybody looks for reasons why you lost. And
yeah.
Penalties, that's a low-hanging fruit there.
Right.
Man. But, all penalties are not the same. And it's, especially when you're beating up on a team, it doesn't matter how many penalties you get.
Yeah.
If you beat up on them, you're gonna win.
Totally irrelevant.
Yeah. Total net yards, they had 215.
Oh, my gosh.
That was their total yardage. We had 402. We doubled them. They had 66 total yards rushing. We had 94. They had 149 yards passing. We had 308.
Wow.
So doubled them in that one.
Wow.
They had the pass completions, they averaged 3.6 yards per pass. That's atrocious.
Gosh. I know.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, our defense was just flying.
Yeah, we were pressuring him almost every down.
Yeah.
Even when we rushed 3 guys, we were getting pressure on him. We beat him in time of possession pretty badly. It was kind of the exact opposite of last week. They had 24 minutes time of possession. We had 35. So almost a 10 full minutes difference.
Oh, can we talk about that one play where their receiver caught it and then ran backwards to try to...
That was a 4th down play. A 3rd or 4th down play.
That was some old Bucs stuff, from the past 10 years.
You hit
That's
him so
some
hard,
boneheaded stuff. No, It was he was trying to evade a tackle. Yeah. Did we push him back and then he started trying to go again?
Yeah,
and so if he had just gone down,
if he had just fallen down,
he would have got the forward progress.
Yeah, that was a boneheaded play.
Yeah. Just a dumb move.
Yeah. That's what happens when you put yourself in a situation where you have to try to make plays.
Yeah.
You end up making mistakes more than anything. They had 2 plays that were over 15 yards. Their longest play was 28 yards. That was a deep pass to Kyle Rudolph. Then they had a 16-yard play after that. We had 6.
Wow.
We had 6 plays over 15 yards. 35-yard deep pass to Gronkowski was our big one. Gronk.
I've been saying, what if it's Gronk that we're missing? We get him back and we play with a ton of energy and just dominate.
Wouldn't that be something if he does bring...
He brings something.
What if he's the something? It's not Tom Brady, it's Gronk.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
What if that's why Tom Brady had him come back? And Tom Brady the last 2 years at New England.
Good point. Yeah. Especially not the last year. Ugh,
yeah, the last year was not.
Sean Murphy Bunting was back on the field, and he played an outstanding 98% of the defensive snaps.
Wow.
I thought for sure they were just going to have him play 20 maybe.
Me too. But he kept getting called for penalties.
That one penalty, again, was complete bullcrap. Or they didn't call a penalty.
Well, they called it at first, and then they picked that one up.
The receiver grabbed him by the wrist, and you can see it. And the announcers even missed it. They weren't looking at it. But he grabbed him by the wrist and was holding SMB's wrist the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he got one initially, like the first drive, I think he got.
Yeah, gave him a
pass
first down.
interference. Yeah, I gave him a first down, but I don't get mad about that kind of stuff. It's I guess if we lose, I probably would. But like, he was just being too physical a little bit, and you get called for it sometimes. So
yeah, we were playing physical.
Yeah,
everybody was. I liked seeing that. Jason Pierre-Paul. He surprisingly played 76% of the downs. He was out there for 44 plays. And he didn't look that bad. He actually batted a couple passes down. That was a weird thing about last week. I don't think he got any passes batted. He's got to be leading the league in that. He averages like 2 a game. And he had 3 in this one, but one, the receiver caught it, and then there was a penalty on them, so it didn't count anyhow.
Yeah.
But JPP did look a little bit better. He still wasn't playing up to his Tasmanian Devil self, but
yeah,
he didn't look like he was out there phoning it in either. Tryon played 50% of the snaps. Yeah, 29 snaps out there. Yeah.
Yeah, he was hustling.
Now, Cam Gill, my boy, he played 6 snaps and got a sack.
Yeah.
Got 1 sack and 6 snaps. That's impressive.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. We only got 2 sacks, so he had one of them.
Yeah. We only had 2. Yeah, those were 2 at the very end. I think it was like their last drive in the fourth quarter. I think it was Nelson and and
Cam Gill.
Cam Gill. So, a great game. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was much better than I was expecting, but it was about what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
We really needed that. We really, really did. We're back in the conversation nationally as being, the team to beat. Of course, there's Arizona Cardinals, but, everybody's still side-eyeing them like, are they serious? I don't think anybody would. Yeah, Molly doesn't think they're.
Yeah. I'm just like,
they're all that.
Prove it.
But if it came down to it and it's us against them, everybody's going to pick us.
Yeah.
They're going to hate to do it, but they're going to.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say, I can't remember who it was, national figure, said that they think that the Green Bay Packers are the best team in the NFC. I know. I was like, what?
I mean, granted, the Packers aren't playing better than I thought that they would, especially after week 1.
After week 1.
After all their off-season nonsense, they are certainly playing better than what I thought they would.
Yeah, there's something about Aaron Rodgers. As much as you don't like the guy, there's the whole off-season drama. They come in, first game, look like crap. I thought the team had quit. I thought it was over with. And then he gets them back up. They're slinging the ball down the field, and then there's the whole COVID stuff where they find out he wasn't vaccinated and all this good stuff. And the team rallied around him.
Yeah.
That really surprises me.
I've always said that about him, is that he really has the leadership characteristic.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's something there. Don't know what it is, but so.
I mean, you got to give the dude props when he deserves it.
Yeah, as much as you hate to do it.
Yeah.
That's what sports is all about, man.
That's right.
You don't want to be a poor sport.
That's right.
So that's a pretty decent segue into some other stuff I want to talk about.
Oh.
Are you finished with the game, or you got?
I just had a little bit of news. We released long snapper Carson Tinker today.
Really?
We brought
Dude back.
I can't even
Goodness.
Zach Triner.
Triner.
And we also activated Scotty Miller from IR.
What?
So he's coming back. That's it. That's all my news for the day.
That's all you got?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's it. Oh, we were going to talk about Mr. Irrelevant's Uber commercial.
My gosh. Guys, if y'all haven't seen the Uber commercial starring Stuart, Stuard,
Great. Yeah.
Grant Stewart.
Grant Stewart.
Steward. Stirred. I don't even know how you pronounce his name. Stirred. He's the Viking. I call him the Viking. He just got that big hair, look like Troy Polamalu. And when you see him out there playing, he rarely gets defensive snaps, but he's on every special team snap. He just plays with so much energy. I mean, the guy's just bouncing around out there. You could tell he's really happy to be in the NFL and to be a Buccaneers. And he's made some good plays on special teams. So anyhow, he's got this Uber commercial. Oh my gosh, I cracked up the first time I saw it because they really play on that. I'm Mr. Irrelevant, and you got to see it.
Yeah.
It is funny.
If you haven't seen it, it's circulating on Twitter, probably on YouTube too. So check it out.
Yes.
Okay.
I like the guy, man. He seems to be really just he is. You are going to have to pry that roster spot out of his cold, dead hands.
Well, and he's getting national attention. Like he's
Uber.
in an Uber commercial.
How awesome
Aaron
is that?
Andrews is in there, and all kinds of people in those commercials. So.
Yeah, he's at that level.
Yeah.
He's at Aaron Andrews. Now I just need to see him naked too.
Oh my God.
Every time Aaron Andrews comes on, I tell Molly, I'm like, yeah, I've seen her naked.
You and every other
dude.
sports fan.
Yes. So yes, go check out the Uber commercial. Now.
Okay. Segue. Should we go back to the segue?
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're going to talk about either.
Oh, I'm a
little nervous.
I'm going to touch on the whole vaccine stuff with Antonio Brown real quick.
Okay.
During the game, they talked about the fake vaccine card that is supposedly Antonio Brown is accused of producing. They talked about it on Monday Night Football. Now, I was worried about this. I'm like, man, hopefully they won't say anything. You know, there's a number of reasons why. One, you know, us football fans, we're in our own little bubble. The rest of the world doesn't know what the hell's going on with football. You know, if you don't follow football, you don't even know who Antonio Brown is. Mm-hmm. You know, and if the rest of the world doesn't know about this, it's kind of cool. You know, if it just stayed, you know, when it was brought up, it splashed in Tampa. Then it was, you know, of course, ESPN dog whistled it, and then it went out in the football world a little bit, and it kind of died. You know, I was surprised by that it didn't hold more weight than I expected, or that it did. And then they bring it up in Monday Night Football game, and I was like, oh no, you know, don't do this, because you know a lot of normal people watch Monday Night Football game whether they intend to or not. You know, when the game's on, they're just like, oh, I'll check this out, or somebody in their family wants to watch the game, so they're stuck watching it or whatever. So it gets out to people who aren't in, you know, the football bubble. And you know, one thing I'm worried about with this is the FBI being involved. You just never want that with anybody, and you know, I don't want them coming in and, you know, just causing a distraction and all that good stuff, you know, an investigation and all this. So that's one of the things I was worried about. If they brought it up during Monday Night Football, you know, the FBI might hear about it, you know, and be like, oh, hey, well, who's this? What's going on? Because I don't know if you're aware or not, the FBI is not really, you know, I mean, they're not like you see in the movies. I mean, they're basically, they read stuff in the paper just like we do, and then they investigate it. You know, it's how they operate. Anyhow, so, you know, I was worried about that when they did it. But one thing that cracked me up about it is they talked about it real briefly too. I was very happy
in
about that.
the very beginning.
Yes.
Like, it was that first drive in the game, and they were showing him. They kept showing him on the sideline, and I was like, "Hey, Antonio Brown's there. Has he been there this whole time that he's been injured? Like, is this the first game that they had him on the sideline? I can't remember. I don't recall seeing him before.
Right.
He might have been. But now that they're showing him, he's like right there. It's in your face and talking about him."
Yeah, so we were wondering, are they only showing him now because they're talking about this, or is this the first time he's been on the sideline or whatever? So anyhow, they touch on it real briefly. They have a little graphic they put up and everything, but it cracked me up, and I was so happy about it. Not only that they didn't really spend a whole lot of time on it, but they didn't give any credit to Rick Stroud or the Tampa Bay Times at all. There was no mention of them. No. There was no little thing at the bottom that said, from
her report.
Yeah. So I was like, they were furious.
So mad.
Rick Stroud sitting there going, seriously, they're stealing my stuff and they're not even give me credit. Because if you know anything about media people, that's all they care about. Mm-hmm. Give me credit. Give me credit. Don't plagiarize. Give me credit. Mm-hmm. And they didn't. And I was just cracking up. I was like, you know what? Because screw that guy. Screw him. Mm-hmm. He's trying to take down our team. And I've got the evidence of that. I'm going to talk about that right now. He is trying to take us down. So anyhow, if you're not aware, Rick Stroud broke the story that there's gossip. That there's gossip out there. And apparently Antonio Brown's ex-personal chef, kind of like revenge porn, has put this out there in order to hurt Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown supposedly owes him money, and I don't know how he expects to get money by releasing this information.
I know. I wouldn't pay him now just for that.
Well, I mean, yeah, right. If Antonio Brown can prove that he's got a valid vaccination card, he can bury this chef for defamation, bad or libel. Which one is it? That'd be definitely
libel. Yeah, it's libel.
Yeah,
libel is written.
Yes, and Tampa Bay Times or Rick Stroud could get in trouble for that. But that's neither here nor there. So anyhow, Rick Stroud writes this long going article about how great this personal chef is and his sex tape broker friend, and how crappy Antonio Brown is. It was basically the gist of the story if you read the article. Well, Rick Stroud did a podcast on it that night, and he had some interesting things to say. Now, I didn't give Rick Stroud the benefit of the doubt at all because, I've seen how he operates for quite some time, and he's not a fan of this team. As a matter of fact, I think he doesn't like this team a whole lot. He's proud to say he's not a fanboy. I'm not a fanboy of the Buccaneers. And they've written in the Tampa Bay Times in particular, they're very hard on the Buccaneers, the ownership, the coaches, and all that good stuff.
Everyone that they hire.
Everyone they hire. Except for very few. There's been a few that they've Lovie Smith they didn't go after. Jerry McCoy they were real buddy with. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, on this podcast, he starts explaining, more in depth about how this all came about and explaining, he had a very long, extensive conversations over numerous days with this personal chef. And he's like, I really like the guy. I think he seems to be a genuine person. There doesn't seem to be a vindictive bone in his body or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how in the world are you saying that when he's putting this out? The vaccination card stuff has absolutely nothing to do with him getting $10,000. It's just pure fucking spite. Mm-hmm. And he even says it.
I tried to go through his lawyer to get money, and I couldn't. So I'm doing this.
Yeah, and Rick Stroud's making the excuse for him. He's saying that, this guy had to go and get this headhunter Hollywood guy because he couldn't afford a lawyer, and he realized that a lawyer would cost more than the $10,000 he was going to get. So this is the best way for him to go about it. That's complete, utter nonsense. I mean, that's the reason why we have small claims courts in America. So you don't get bankrupted trying to go after a small amount of money. You know, a small claims court, you go in front of a judge. You know, there's no trial, there's no jury, it's just like you see on Judge Judy. It's just you go in, you present the evidence, and the judge goes, yeah, okay, you owe him money, now you pay him. That's it. You know, and you don't need a lawyer for that. As a matter of fact, you can't have a lawyer there. So anyhow, Rick Stroud, you know, he goes and he's explaining and all this good stuff, but then he gets to like the reason why he printed this. And he made it pure and clear that he felt that Antonio Brown needs to be punished severely for endangering the lives of people. I mean, I'm going to quote some stuff here that he said. He said, "You're endangering people, putting people at risk, people that trust you, that you're safe, that you're doing what you're supposed to, merely because they do not want to go through the trouble of actually taking the vaccine and they're trying to enjoy some of the pleasures, if you will, or the allowances for people who are vaccinated." That was his justification for writing this mess. You know, what's the mentality of somebody like this? You know, is that you're endangering people. For one, Antonio Brown's already got antibodies now, whether he's vaccinated or not, because he contracted COVID. So he's more immune to COVID than people who have been vaccinated. So he ain't endangering nobody. Mm-hmm. You know? And then it's also everybody that apparently Rick Stroud is saying he endangered, they're already vaccinated. All the coaching staff, all the people who are worried about catching COVID, they're already vaccinated. So how in the world is Antonio Brown endangering them if he's not vaccinated? It's just insanity. It's insanity. I told you I don't want to talk about this crap anymore, but here we are because they're trying to take down our team. Now, Rick Stroud goes on and he says, you have to make an example out of Antonio Brown.
What?
That's what he said. He said, if he knowingly passed themselves off as vaccinated when they are not, you need to make an example out of him. He said he needed to be suspended. And he says, you need urgency on this. I mean, his podcast made it plain outright. He wants Antonio Brown suspended and punished, not because Antonio Brown did anything bad to hurt the football team. It's because Rick Stroud doesn't like the fact that Antonio Brown said he was vaccinated when he might not have been. Because Rick Stroud thinks that he endangered people.
So it's his personal mission.
It's his personal mission to take
to
Antonio
make
Brown
sure
down.
that Antonio Brown is punished accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah, it said it right there on his podcast. That you need to make an example out of him. They were talking about the NHL and some other leagues have fined and suspended people who have fake vaccine cards or lied about whatever. I don't know because I don't pay attention to any other leagues. But he was like, if it's true here, we need to make an example out of him. Let everybody else in the league know that you can't do this. It's like, whoa, man, we got so many hall monitors in America. Mm-hmm. I had no idea. Mm-hmm.
And they're in the media class.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, if you're a hall monitor,
yeah,
you're probably attracted to that profession.
That's the people who volunteered to be hall monitors. Mm-hmm. I was always side out of those people, mm-hmm. anyhow, in high school and junior high, whatever. Do they even have hall monitors anymore?
No, we didn't when I was coming up.
You didn't?
No.
Wow.
I saw it on like
no, that's stuff. Because y'all got like real police officers now.
Yeah, we had cameras.
God, oof. I went to my son's school in elementary school back when he was in first grade, and I might even be in kindergarten, and I was blown away. It was like walking into a jail. This was the same school I went to when I was his age. It was like walking into a jail. You had to go through a metal detector. There was a police officer sitting at the front desk. You had to go through them, or it was a security person in a uniform. I don't think they were.
It was an old lady in his school.
She wasn't that old.
Yeah, but like, what's she gonna do?
Yeah, I don't think she could have taken me if I wanted to get in.
No.
And they had cameras up everywhere, and it's just, that's a bad, I don't want my kids in that environment.
Well, I was there for the transition because I was in elementary school when Columbine happened. So before Columbine, none of that happened. We didn't have any of that. And then after Columbine is when everyone started, all the school systems invested in cameras and resource officers and all that kind of stuff.
Why do we freak out as a nation over things like that? You know, when something happens, unusual stuff like that is always going to happen. And we just always seem to overreact. You know, it's just like we got to...
You start messing with people's kids, they get freaked out, I think.
Yeah,
all right, let's not get into this because it's not football related. Let's keep it moving.
So if you're new to the podcast, or if you're, haven't been paying attention to everything, if you read to Tampa Bay Times, any of the reporters there, or Rick Stroud, and I would go so far as to say is ESPN, and maybe even some of the other things, they are not fans of this team. They are not there to help. They're not giving you information that's going to make this team look good. They're the exact opposite. You know, they want to further their career. They want to get the scoop. They want to, apparently punish players that they feel need to be punished. They want to be judge, jury, and executioner. So take it for what you will, but me, I wouldn't read Rick Stroud stuff, if I was forced to, if it was the last thing in the library.
Yeah, and I think that the organization's handling it very well. I mean, they're answering questions about it, but they're just very short. They're like, yeah, nothing seemed irregular to us, and we're just talking about the Giants now. Like, it was very wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. They're not putting too much into it. They're not couch fading over the whole thing and saying, oh, we've got to have an investigation. Like, they're just, I think they're doing the best that they can. And I thought it was a genius move. Tom Brady initially was supposed to be available to the media on Friday. The story had broken Thursday. And so they moved his press conference from Friday to Saturday, which I thought was amazing because you remove that opportunity for them to bother him with it.
Badger him about it. Yeah.
Which is what they were going to do. And so you delay that. You give them, you give him a little bit of time. And I didn't even watch the press conference. I'm sure it came up. I didn't see what his answer was. I don't care. That's why. Well, I just don't care.
The personal chef didn't just accuse Antonio Brown. He said there were other players on the team who have fake vaccination cards. And one of those players, we don't know who it is. They haven't been identified by anybody yet. But one of the players that he accused, the Buccaneers came out and said, no, that's not possible because he was here at one Buc place and we saw him get injected. So, there's a whole bunch of
inconsistencies.
Yeah, as it stands right now.
It's unsubstantiated.
This is rumors from a disgruntled employee.
Yeah. And so to me, like, this story has kind of lost a lot of traction.
Oh, yeah.
And I just don't, I don't think anything else is going to come of it. I think we're going to hear quietly whatever the results of the investigation are, and it's just going to go away because I think it's a non-story. Yeah.
Are they even going to investigate it? Because you got to figure, I mean, even if Antonio Brown does have the fake vaccination card, I can guarantee you he's not the only one in the league. I guarantee you there's a lot of guys. That's one of the things that pissed me off about on this podcast. Rick Stroud said that he didn't want to get the vaccination merely because he didn't want to go through the trouble of actually taking the vaccine. I mean, that's such an arrogant way to look at this. Yeah. No, Antonio Brown was worried about the physical aspects on his body because, unlike Rick Stroud, Antonio Brown uses his body, to just sit around and eat potato chips all day. Mm-hmm. He's out there. His body is the way he makes money. Mm-hmm. So, taking these vaccines, to some of these guys, that's a big choice. It's a big thing that they have to think about. And to act like, no, he didn't want to take it just because of the inconvenience, the trouble.
Right. Because what other reason could you have?
Right. And, he said, and then he goes on, he says, he didn't want to take it but he still wanted to enjoy some of the pleasures or the allowances for people who are vaccinated. You notice how he said that? Mm-hmm. He hid nothing of the fact that if you're vaccinated, you get rewards. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's your reward for getting your dog, here's your dog treat for doing it. It's just, this makes me sick. It's like, hall monitors, man.
Well, I think it's just going to go away. I think it's just.
Yeah. One of the reasons why I think it's just like with the officials, if there's ever a official scandal, they're going to make it go away, and they probably already have done, because the NFL, they make way too much money. They can't have stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they know that if they dive into this, they're going to have to do it with every team, and they might find out something they don't want to find out is that probably quite a few hundred guys have fake vaccine cards. Because you could easily fake those vaccine cards. I mean, it's not, they're not like a $20 bill where you got holograms and all that stuff on them. So anyhow, screw Rick Stroud. Not a friend of the Bucs.
That's right.
I would say the enemy of the Buccaneers.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All righty, guys. Anything else?
No. I think that'll do it.
We are back on top. I think in the division we're how many games up?
Probably 2.
That's what I'm thinking. Let's look at it.
Because New Orleans lost to the Eagles and Panthers lost to Washington. Of course, Atlanta lost on Thursday Night Football to, was it Dallas? No, Patriots.
Patriots, yeah, got stomped.
So, yeah, we're sitting pretty.
This is 2 weeks now where everything has gone our way, except for the Arizona Cardinals. They won. I mean, Green Bay lost to Minnesota. It's like, who saw that guy?
Yeah, that was a close one.
Yeah, it was a good game, too. So, then not only are we a good football team, but things are going in our favor. The New Orleans Saints are 5-5. They're 2 games behind us. And we are sitting pretty at the top of the division. We are 2 games behind the Arizona Cardinals. We want that top seed. We want that top seed so we can get the bye week.
Okay, so currently here are the playoff standings. Cardinals first. They are 9-2, so we are 2 games behind them. So they have the number 1 seed and a first round bye. Packers are 8-3, so they're number 2. We are 7-3. We're number 3. Cowboys are 7-3. They are 4th, and then we got the Rams at 7-3. Ooh, the Vikings at 5-5, and then the Saints at 5-5. So they are squeaking in right now.
Mm-hmm.
With a 5-5 record.
The Cardinals have the Bears coming up, then the Rams, the Lions, the Colts, Cowboys, and Seahawks. So they don't have that hard of a schedule either. I mean, the Rams might be a little difficult. Colts might be difficult. Cowboys might be difficult. But they
compared to our schedule, though,
I know.
Like ours is a cakewalk from here on out. The Colts might be a little tricky. The Bills, maybe. We'll see how they are.
Yeah, what's happened with them?
Yeah.
Good Lord. We don't have enough time to delve into that. All right, we got to wrap this up, man.
Okay.
All right, so guys, let's be happy. Let's enjoy this week. Savor it. We've had many, many over the past year and a half, and we deserve it because not only are we awesome, but damn, did we go a long time seeing some crappy football.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. Happy Victory Tuesday, guys. Till next time.
Go Bucs.